You don't fall for unavailable people by accident. You fall for them because somewhere along the way, your brain learned that's what love feels like. In this video, we're going to look at 7 signs that your attraction to emotionally unavailable people isn't bad luck. It's a pattern your nervous system keeps recreating. Sign 1. You confuse intensity with intimacy. Think about the last person you were deeply drawn to. Was there a pull, a tension, a push and pull that made everything feel electric? That feeling, that electric uncertainty, isn't love. It's anxiety wearing love's clothes. When someone is emotionally unavailable, they give just enough to keep you close, then pull back. And your nervous system reads that cycle as passion, as chemistry, as this must mean something. But real intimacy doesn't feel like that. Real intimacy feels safe, consistent, and calm. If calm feels boring to you, that's not a personality trait. That's a wound. Sign 2. Available people feel boring to you. Someone texts back quickly. They're consistent. They say what they mean. They don't disappear for days. And somehow, you're not interested. This is one of the most painful signs to recognize. Because it means the problem isn't that you're unlucky in love. It's that your nervous system has been calibrated to associate love with unpredictability. If you grew up in an environment where love was inconsistent, where affection had to be earned, or where a parent was emotionally hot and cold, your brain mapped that as what closeness looks like. So someone who is simply available feels flat. Not because they're boring, because they're different from what your nervous system expects. Sign 3. You overinvest early to earn closeness. They pull back. And instead of pulling back too, you lean in harder. You text more. You try to be more interesting, more understanding, more low maintenance. You make excuses for them. You give more of yourself, hoping that if you're enough, they'll finally let you in. This pattern is called anxious pursuit. And it makes complete sense if you learned early on that love had to be chased, that closeness wasn't freely given. It had to be won. The painful truth? The more you pursue someone who is unavailable, the more they feel chased, and the more they pull away. It's a loop, and you can't earn your way out of it. Sign 4. You mistake their walls for depth. They're guarded. They don't open up easily. They're hard to read. And somehow, that feels interesting, like there's something beneath the surface worth unlocking, like if you're patient enough, you'll get to see something no one else has seen. But there's a difference between someone who is private and someone who is emotionally closed off. Depth means someone has rich inner life they're willing to share over time. Walls means someone has learned to keep people out, and that's not a mystery to solve. It's a boundary they've built, often for reasons that have nothing to do with you. You are not a key, you are not a project, and you cannot love someone into emotional availability. Sign 5. The chase feels more alive than the connection. Here's one that's uncomfortable to admit. When they finally show interest back, when the unavailable person suddenly wants you, the excitement fades. Once the uncertainty disappears, so does the pull. This is a sign that what you're addicted to isn't the person, it's the chase. The dopamine hit of an unanswered text, the relief when they finally reply, the hope when they show up after pulling away. That's not love. That's a cycle of emotional highs and lows that mimics love. And like any addiction, the substance itself stops mattering. What matters is the loop. Sign 6. You shrink to keep them comfortable. You stop bringing up how you feel. You learn not to ask for too much. You reframe your own needs as too needy before anyone else can. Because somewhere you learned that expressing what you need drives people away. So you get smaller. You make yourself easier to be around. You become low maintenance, not because you are, but because you're afraid of what happens if you're not. This is not compromise. This is self-erasure in service of keeping someone close who was never really fully there. The version of you they're comfortable with? It's not all of you. And you deserve to be known fully. not just the parts that don't ask for anything. Sign 7. You believe you can be the one who finally changes them. They just haven't met the right person yet. They've been hurt before. If I'm patient enough, consistent enough, understanding enough, they'll open up. This belief that you can be the exception is one of the most powerful hooks of this pattern. It gives the relationship meaning. It gives you a role. You're not just someone they're with. You're the person who sees them, who gets them, who can finally reach them. But emotional unavailability isn't something someone grows out of because their partner was patient enough. It requires their own work, their own awareness, their own willingness to change. Your love is not a therapy plan. And loving someone broken doesn't make you strong. It makes you exhausted. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, I want you to hear this. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means something happened to you. And what happens to us shapes what feels familiar, what feels safe, what feels like love. The goal isn't to shame the pattern. It's to see it clearly enough that it stops running automatically. Because you don't have to keep choosing what hurts just because it feels like home. If this resonated, the next video on avoidant attachment might explain a lot about the other side of this pattern. Why the people you're drawn to pull away. I'll link it here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.